In Remnant 2, archetypes are getting a complete overhaul to make them more engaging, meaningful, and they've been overall improved from the first game. So when you start Remnant 2, you're still going to select an archetype to start, and this will still determine your starting gear, which are a trademark armor set, 3 completely unique weapons, and a signature archetype trait. They also come with 2 new additions, perks and skills. Now these perks and skills are unlocked by gaining experience and leveling up the archetype. So each archetype has its own independent progression that unlocks features that are exclusive to it. So first things first, let's talk about perks. So there are 5 perk types: Prime, Damage, Team, Utility, and Relic. Prime is the core identity of the archetype and provides a benefit that no other archetypes or item can provide. Damage is a perk that scales the damage output of your character and gains effectiveness as you level up. So one archetype, for instance, might gain a ranged and melee buff, while another will get a boost to mod power or skill damage. Team perks will affect all allies, whether you play alone or in a group. So some examples are increased ammo drops, increased healing, boosting team defense, and each perk is unique and provides a little more juice to your gameplay. Utility is considered a quality of life perk. It's a small buff that blends well with the overall theme of the archetype. An example of this is reducing stamina costs. Lastly, we have our Relic perk. This is a temporary effect that activates for a short duration after using a relic like your Dragon Heart. These buffs are powerful, but since they're tied to your relic, they do have a limit. So next up, let's talk about skills. Archetype skills are special abilities that can only be used by that archetype. So unlike weapon mods from the first game, these skills cannot be shared between archetypes. So if you want to use a perk or a skill, you need to use that archetype in order to do so. And each one has 3 skills to choose from. Now you can only use one at a time, but these can be swapped at any time as long as you're out of combat. Now skills are also cooldown based, and they're not tied to mod power buildup like in the previous game. And these provide a range of bonuses from auras to healing and increased damage. Lastly, let's talk about the archetype trait itself. So each archetype comes with its own trait, and as you level up, that trait will gain a rank. And this is incredibly important because unlike the first game, you cannot max out every single trait card. You will have to be diligent in how you spend your points. Ask yourself, what are the things I need and what can I live without? Next, when your archetype reaches max level, the trait will become fully unlocked, and then it can be used with any build that you wish, meaning you can access that trait from other archetypes. The only catch here is that it will not be maxed out and you will have to spend points to level it up. So if you have a healing trait that you want to use on a tank character, you can, but you will need to spend points in order to level that up and take advantage of it. So the question is, how do we get more archetypes? The devs at Remnant were mysterious as always when approaching this topic. They want the community to discover how to unlock certain archetypes, but the cool thing is, once you unlock a new one, you can immediately switch to it if you want to. You don't have to start a new game, you don't have to create a new character, and you can accumulate more and more archetypes and make the swap whenever you want, but you will still have to level them up, of course. Now, the best part of this whole system is that you can even combine 2 archetypes and use them both at the same time in order to create a class. Now, at a certain point in the game, you'll unlock the ability to spec into 2 archetypes and then have access to the traits, skills, and perks of both of those archetypes. The only holdup is that the prime perk of the archetype will not be shared. So whichever primary archetype you have selected will be the prime perk that you get. So keep that in mind as we get closer to release. So that's how archetypes work in Remnant 2. It's a really cool system. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I do have a series of videos coming out. We're going to take a deep dive into all of the starting archetypes: Medic, Hunter, Challenger, Gunslinger, and Handler. Talk about how those work, as well as the progression system for Remnant 2, because there's some really cool stuff packed in there as well. Let me know in the comment section below what you think so far about the archetype system and all the changes. As always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.